Welcome to Holocaust Museum Houston. My name is Dr. Michelle Tovar, and I am the Associate Director of Education, focusing on Latino initiatives here at the museum. To celebrate the opening of the exhibit Mandela's Struggle for Freedom, we are speaking with organizations from around Houston which are working to protect human rights and serve our community. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Ana Parras and Juan Parras of TEJAS, Texas Environmental Justice Advocacy Services. Ana and Juan, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm very excited to learn more about your organization and the fantastic initiatives TEJAS is leading within our community. So first of all, can you tell us a little bit about TEJAS? What is your organization's mission?
Yes, certainly. TEJAS is an environmental justice organization. And if you know about the Environmental Justice Executive Order 12898, signed by President Clinton, it tries to address where we live, where we work, where we play, where we go to school, where we go to church, environmental issues that those communities face. And environmental justice basically is communities of color that are overburdened with this environmental issues. And it sort of gives them a head start on trying to address their concerns on environmental hazards. It's not a law, it's an executive order. So it's very, it's not easy to challenge the industry with an executive order. Anna, you want to say something?
We advocate for fence line communities. We call them fence line communities because they're communities of least resistance. And as advocates, we feel that we have to carry their voices to help get them the justice that they need in the areas.
Very good, thank you. So why is this human rights issue so important for people to understand who don't live in that community, but other people and globally as well? Why is this important?
Well, you know, the key word, I guess, that you mentioned is human rights.
Yes.
We have a particular situation right now in Manchester, the community of Manchester. It's on the east side of Houston downtown. And there's a permit that Valero applied for to release initially 517 tons of hydrogen cyanide. They now have reduced that amount to, I believe, 196 tons of hydrogen cyanide. And so when we talk about hydrogen cyanide, and this being the Holocaust Museum, people would understand very quickly what hydrogen cyanide was used during the World War II. It's a chemical that was used to exterminate the Jewish population. So that in itself should tell you, hey, this is a very, very toxic chemical. Yet Valero wants to release, again, to their permit, they came down to 196 tons per year of this chemical into the community nearby, not only Manchester, because these chemicals don't stay in one place, right?
Contiguous.
Yeah. But anyway, we are challenging that permit, and we would love, and maybe this is not the proper place to say that, but we would love to have the support of not only other organizations, but certainly of the Jewish population in the city of Houston to support us, because what happened to them should have never happened to anyone. And certainly we should stand behind that it happens to no one, henceforth.
Thank you so much, Juan. Now, knowing that we're in a pandemic and COVID-19, how has this impacted your work?
Well, the work continues. It has hindered us from going into the communities itself. We're having to do more of Zoom calling, keeping up with members, making sure that they have what they need, daily needs, which is food, and even the issue of even COVID-19 testing has been an issue in some of our communities because they don't have transportation to get to testing sites. But a lot of the testing sites in Houston require an ID. And a lot of the people that we serve happen to be an immigrant population. A lot of them are afraid to go get tested because they're taking information. And so this is something that we've talked to the city of Houston. We've talked to the city of Houston, we've talked to the county, and right now we're working on trying to resolve these issues for our I guess, most vulnerable populations. The pandemic has just added, well, it's just added to the problem of the cumulative impacts that our fence line communities are facing. They have all these challenges with what the refineries are pushing out along now with the pandemic, and it's just making it harder. And that's why you have the numbers are so much higher in our communities.
And I would like to, add to what my wife said. The documentation is already out there that fence line communities are disproportionately being impacted by COVID-19 because of already the air pollution toxins in their community. It just adds another toxicity to that area. So the data is out there. There's no disputing that. Despite the data being out there, we still have in Houston, in our communities, very little addressing those, huge air toxins and cumulative impacts. And I hope that the virus will bring more attention to that we need to address just basically the total air pollution in the entire city of Houston from here all the way to Galveston Bay.
Right. You did mention that you would like to have the Jewish community more involved. What are other ways that people can become involved with your organization? How can people help?
Well, one way that people can get involved, not only with our, the issues that we have, is that nationally, there's a lot of major cities that are already coming up with environmental justice policy. And, I can go into the details of environmental justice policy, but basically, absent a policy in place for a city, a county, or a state, it's only like, it's very hard to challenge the existing, I guess, regulations and policies because there's nothing to give you substance or give you muscle, right? So we in the city of Houston, we need an EJ policy, environmental justice policy in the county. We need an environmental justice policy in the city of Houston, and then hopefully in the state, an environmental justice policy. Absent that, it's always going to be an uphill battle for fence line communities to deal and address environmental issues that are impacting their lives, their children, their entire community, right? So anyway, that's what we need locally, an environmental justice policy that will give you sort of a strong arm to say, hey, there's a policy that says you can do that. Absent all of these things that I'm telling you, it's like fighting in vain because the industry's got more power than we do.
And also the state of Texas, or rather TCEQ, is lax at enforcement. So that's another problem. They just throw it from the city. The city they'll say we can't do this. The county will say we can't do this, and the state is very lax at enforcement. So that's why we need a policy.
Right. Now we had the opportunity, our museum had a chance to bring our student ambassadors by TEJAS about a couple of years ago, and it really impacted the students who were there. To this day, we still get alumni that tell us that experience was something that was life-changing for them, eye-opening. What do you recommend high school students who are looking at this video, what do you recommend they can do to help with this policy change or to help contribute to TEJAS?
Right now, TEJAS has a youth component. We also have an educational liaison for them to contact us so that we can begin engaging them because the youth is the future. We know that we've got to pass the baton on to someone else to carry the message. But as far as them getting involved in policy, the more they know, the better it is. Youth voices are going to be what's the change. And when we have these hearings, or hearings before city council, hearings before the county commissioner, hearings before TCQ, having them come and participate, whether it's a Zoom call, whether they're there, they can participate in many ways, even if it's offering over the internet. There's times that you can put in your when there's a policy change and whatnot, you can submit your
petition.
Right. So there are many ways, and like I said, through TEJAS, if they contact us through our website, we're able to engage with youth. And so right now we do have interns that we have from Fur High School. It's the first environmental justice school in the nation. We had 8 interns over the summer, and it was a good group. There is a website that's going to be coming out. It's called Houston Voices, and you'll be able to see the work that our youth did over the summer. And this is a way that they can participate. And but there's just many different ways, and we can help, you know, we can be a vehicle or a conduit as far as how to help them be part of that process.
And how they can, oh, go ahead. Yes, Juan, go ahead.
I'll just add another little chunk of it. The youth right now, you know, if you look at the entire world, the youth are aware that climate change is happening, and they're trying to do something about it. But in a lot of cases, they don't know who to connect with to address issues that folks like us have been addressing for the longest, right? So when we talk about youth and sort of addressing your question, they understand that climate change is taking place. And if they just had sort of a directory in their communities that says, well, look, if you really, really care about climate change and you're saying you do, here are some local groups that you should get involved with. And that's what we're attempting to do. There's a lot of youth connecting us. But again, you know, even when people contact you to address environmental issues and climate change, it takes time and resources and education, because it's not like it's a given. You come in and you say, oh, we want to get rid of plastics, and all of a sudden there's no plastic bottles in the environment, right? So it's going to be a struggle, even for those that want to get involved, because it's just continuous. You know, we're dealing with a world that sometimes profit exceeds, you know, the health needs of communities.
Thank you so much. So you did mention your website. Do you also have social media as well that they could reach out to and find you on Facebook or Instagram?
Yes, they can reach us on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, at tejasbarrios.org. And if everything's there, if they go to our website, all of our handles are on there. I would say Juan and I are not the media gurus. It is our youth that are actually doing a lot of it for us. So it's all on our website.
Well, thank you. Is there any other information you'd like to share with our viewers about the organization?
Well, what I would tell them is that we're always looking for volunteers, and we're also to get youth involved. And primarily what we're also trying to do is to try to get the city, the county, and the state, again, to come together and draft environmental justice policy for the entire region. There's other states and there's other cities that already have that in place, which gives communities like us, grassroots organizations, the ability to challenge. Absent that, again, it's like, oh, we're not going to listen to you because we don't have to.
Well, we live in the energy capital of the world. That's the bottom line. And the importance of policy like this is the only, to me, to us, the only vehicle for change, really. And it's going to be a commitment.
Thank you so much for this incredible work that you're doing at TEJAS, and for taking the time to talk to me today. If you'd like to learn more about TEJAS, visit their website at tejasbarrios.org or stop by Holocaust Museum Houston on Saturday, September 26th between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. TEJAS is actually featured in our Human Rights Gallery, so if you'd love to learn more information, we have a great feature on their organization there. Please come by, receive free admission that day, and get a chance to see our new exhibit, Mandela, Struggle for Freedom, will be on view September 11th through January 3rd, 2021. For more information about Holocaust Museum Houston and more in our events, please visit us at hmh.org. Please feel free to also follow us on social media at Boniac Center on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you again, Juan and Ana, for taking the time to speak to us. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you very much.